All right, Huber. I got to play some Switch 2. Don got to play some Switch 2. And now thanks to Sega,
Yeah.
you've got to play a little bit of Switch 2. You got to play Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
Yeah.
And then Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, something along those lines.
Yep.
And then Raidou Remastered, which I don't really know anything about from the Atlus side. Before we get into the games, how much did you get to mess around with hardware? I know they were like, can't take photos, development kit stuff. Yeah.
Not a lot. I will say what impressed me the most was the Pro controller.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness, that thing feels good.
Nice.
So comfortable in your hand. Like, we all have different hand sizes and grips that we like to use for our controllers, the way we hold it, and just, it's different for everybody. And yeah, that just, for me, it felt incredible. Like, I cannot state enough. Because I really like the DualSense, but I really liked the size of the DualShock 4, how that feels in my hand.
The DualSense feels a little wide somehow. Yeah.
The Switch 2 Pro Controller just feels so nice. It just feels like you're holding a cloud. Like, I could hold that thing forever. Yeah.
Are you a grip button guy? Are you into those?
The back buttons, no, but I know the tryhards and the sweaters love them. When they're playing their multiplayer games or their Souls likes, they like the extra back buttons. I don't care enough. Like, I'm fine.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
All claw technique Souls, like, whatever. I don't need it. Yeah. I mean, it does seem nice. Like, my friend uses it for Fortnite, and it, like, helps because it's just, like, extra little buttons.
Well,
there.
especially if you're doing something on the right analog stick, it's nice to have another button that you can push.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm sure one of these days I'll adopt the back buttons, but right now I don't need them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any other hardware thoughts since you didn't really get to do too much?
Yeah, it was locked in there, so I didn't even get to hold it, really.
Right.
Yeah, so just the Pro Controller and then the Joy-Cons, which also felt really nice. I'll get into that a little bit on Puyo Puyo.
Okay.
Because I was using those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It's interesting because it's like they're the same shape, but they're so much bigger that like it definitely makes a difference in comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. I like them. I think when I was using them, I was happy and just like, oh, they're better. They're good. I like them. The size and everything is better, but it didn't have as big as impact as like, I guess I was just more surprised about the Pro Controller because I guess I wasn't expecting it to be such an improvement.
Nice.
So.
Nice. All right. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
Yes. I played some older games on Switch too, so it's a little hard to sit here and be like, oh, the power is great because I played old games. Like, so I wasn't judging it at all on its, hardware capabilities.
Yeah.
But I will say that every game ran well. Like, this is Yakuza 0. It's an older game, but it ran perfectly. Looked really good. I just played a little bit of the campaign. I don't think I even got to any extra director's cut scenes. I was just running around town and beating up thugs like we do in Yakuza 0. Gotta sit here and tell you, if you haven't played Yakuza, that's the best place to start. Just dive in. Don't be intimidated by how many games there are.
I mean, I feel like your E3 impressions were a big turning point in the history of that franchise.
And Yakuza 0 was such a big turning point because it was, it was an excuse for a lot of people to get in there knowing that they didn't have to have played any of the other ones at that point. So, yeah, highly, highly recommend getting into Yakuza. Again, if you have not, I know it can be intimidating because it feels like they're cranking one out every year with spin-offs and Pirates and Lost Judgment and just all of that. There's so many. But just try to drown that out and focus on 0 because 1, it's a great place to start, and 2, it is just on its own an incredible game, a landmark game, like one of the best games. It's just incredible. Definitely a high mark for that entire franchise. As far as the new stuff, which has me really excited, I only got to play it single player, unfortunately, but there's a full-on 4-player raid mode style beat 'em up.
Okay.
Where, raid lowercase, not like, dodging AoEs and solving puzzles. It's basically just beat up waves of enemies, and you're kind of in a, for example, you're on the streets, beat up a bunch of enemies, then it'll like cut to the next part. You know, you're not running through the entire town.
Right.
It's set up in arena type areas. And yeah, this mode is just, it's a fun little bonus. It's not some mode like Hitman Freelancer that is going to be this, you know, long-term forever type thing. It definitely felt like a bonus side mode. There is some progression. Like when you beat a mission or a whole thing, you get cash, and then you can use that cash to upgrade your characters and also buy new ones.
Okay.
Like, there's a huge roster of Yakuza characters, mainly from Zero. You know, you're not going to see people from the later ones.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there were a couple, you know, grayed out characters that I couldn't even see who they were. I'm hoping for Mr. Shakedown. Please let us be Mr. Shakedown. That would be incredible. But yeah, I got to play it single player, and I can only imagine playing this in multiplayer because you bring in AI partners. So there were 4 of us kind of bouncing around, you know, kicking ass, but just me and the computer. But I imagine grouping up with your friends is just a fun way to play Yakuza. I mean, you know, I haven't really thought of multiplayer in this franchise since like Dead Souls, like the zombie stuff. Yeah, this is a franchise that is lacking some multiplayer. So I think just adding an extra little mode on an already older game doesn't compromise anything. It's not going to freak people out. Like, they're going live service. They're going multiplayer.
Have they done, like, multiplayer stuff in a lot of the mini games, or not even that?
You can, like, battle each other. That's their thing. It's like they have multiplayer. It's like you can play the little mini games together, but not, like, in the city, going through, beating people up, traditional Yakuza style. So, yeah, it seemed fun, and it definitely seems like something that I will put some time into, unlock the characters. You know, I definitely want to go through all the levels. I think there were like, I don't know exactly how many there were. There weren't that many. But one of them was like the streets. Another one was like Tojo headquarters. So pretty limited amount of levels, but it also seemed like to crank up the difficulty on some, you had to upgrade your characters. Okay. So there were a couple difficulty levels, and I think my Cosmo was like level 3. And it costs like a lot of money to rank them up again. But yeah, just a little side fun bonus one. If you love Yakuza and your friends love it, this is gonna rule. Because it's like, dude, let's play together. One thing, there was no heat actions that I saw in the multiplayer. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I didn't unlock them, but I tried multiple characters. No heat actions. Throwing that out there. You let me know. Because I didn't see him. I couldn't find him. So yeah.
Yeah. And then I know there's some extra cutscenes. You talked about some extra cutscenes.
Yeah, and I played the campaign, but I didn't notice any.
Yeah. Might even be later on.
Yeah, and they had me playing in English. It was jarring.
Yeah.
Like,
the English is new too.
Yeah.
For Zero.
For Zero as well. Yeah.
And so that was the thing. It's like I didn't realize that they had already started doing English on the last couple of ones.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like I saw like Matt Mercer as Majima. I'm like, what? And people were like, yeah, he was already Majima in some of the other games. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I like
Mark Hamill in the original Yakuza 1 on PS2 was Majima. Yeah, because it was only English for Yakuza 1 on PS2.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it's funny for me to listen to that.
I know, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I know, yeah. I just can't do it. I draw the line there. English and Yakuza games, no way. Yeah, and then we moved on to Raidou.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. This is in the Shin Megami Tensei world.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty clear to that, but I don't know really anything about that series.
This game had like never come out in the West before.
Got it.
And it definitely is Shin Megami looking. You have like your old Shin Megami monsters in there. And I only played for a little bit. It does seem really cool, and I heard it is actually not the longest game ever made. It's a pretty short game. I think it's like less than 20 hours, which is encouraging. You know, you're playing a Shin Megami game. That's encouraging. But yeah, you're this like demon type detective, and they just threw us in. I played for a little, so my impressions are really just how it ran and the combat and stuff. You're kind of running through this, you know, old Japanese town. Mm-hmm. The combat is in real time, so it was pretty mashy.
I was wondering about that, how the combat system is set up.
Yeah. Combat was a little mashy. You do have your gun. It reminded me of Persona 5. You could like hold the left trigger and aim, and it would be like do 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 do, and then you like do 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 and like shoot them all. Enemies have weaknesses, just like Persona Shin Megami. You can fuse monsters together, so all of those hallmarks are there.
Yeah.
And kind of the pace was a little slower, a little more deliberate. You had to. There's a little light puzzle solving. You would have to use your monsters to progress through the environment a little bit. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So one of my monsters had like clairvoyance or whatever, could like see things, and was like, you had to use the monster in a location, and then it would be like, oh, they dropped a book behind the shelf. It's behind there. So then you find the book, and that leads to another thing. But yeah, It definitely seemed like an older game. Obviously, this came out originally a very long time ago. But if you are a Shin Megami enthusiast, I'm sure this is definitely going to speak to you. The length as well is not intimidating. And the remaster itself, as a remaster, seemed really nice. Polished, smooth. Everything seemed nice. So a great way to bring an old game to the present.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming out a little bit, like a couple weeks after 2 weeks after the Switch 2.
Yeah.
June 19th.
Super cool. Yeah, just historical purposes, let us play every entry in our favorite franchises and our most celebrated franchises. Let us play all the Resident Evils or the Shin Megamis or the Final Fantasies. Make it easy for us.
Yeah. Well, they're not holding back either. Yeah. It's on PlayStation 5, it's on PlayStation 4, it's on Steam, it's on Xbox.
Getting it out
Switch
there.
One has got a version of it too.
Very cool. Yeah, the remaster seemed great on Switch 2, so no concerns there whatsoever. And it did seem interesting. You're like a detective just tracking down demons and stuff. It seemed really interesting. So again, this is a big JRPG that I played for 15 minutes.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's all I can really tell you about that. Seemed promising.
Yeah, and then the last one is Puyo Puyo.
Yeah, dude. Okay, very excited.
Oh.
About one thing specifically.
Okay.
Extremely excited. Mark it on your calendars now because this mode is hype AF. There is a 2 versus 2 mode, Blood.
Oh, okay.
You are both, so you share a board each. So you have 2 here, 2 here. Each team is dropping them at the same time. And you bump into each other too.
Right.
So it's like, no, I need to go over you. I need to go under you. Yeah, you're like bumping in. You're like, you see a match, you want to get over there. You're trying to get over there. They're trying to get over here. And it's like, wait, no. The communication needed for this is like overcooked. Times 10. This seems special, dude. This mode seems like a big winner. So I'm very excited to stream this 2-on-2. I can only imagine a drift compatible team just like boo, 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 boo. So yeah, we did 2-on-2. We played that for a bit. It was really fun. We were Sonic in one of them. You can choose your characters.
Oh, yeah.
That's always really fun.
Dude, I remember when the Switch version came out or whatever, somehow like one of the dev team guys was like playing us online or something like that.
Sick.
And it was like
destroying us.
Yeah, because like we have no concept of like how to like get good at Puyo Puyo.
Yeah.
Like the Tetris side is like we're okay, we're sort of capable, but the Puyo side is like
we're like what the hell, dude? Yeah. But yeah, the 2-on-2 mode is definitely something to keep your eye on. Holy moly! And this we played normally with the Joy-Cons, so we all had Joy-Cons each, so very convenient that way. And then we did mouse controls.
Yeah, I just saw that's in there.
Which was tough. It was tough because I just, for that and getting thrown into it, and it's Tetris, so it's like speed and accuracy and urgency. It was like, if you would go like up on the mouse, it would like drop the piece down.
Oh.
But then I wanted to rotate, so I was like hitting a little small button. Like it was
Yeah, that might be like using a feature that you don't need to use.
Yes,
like,
that's what it
felt
like.
If I was playing Tetris or Puyo Puyo like on keyboard, I would just be using the keyboard. I would not even be touching the mouse.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So it was a little unnecessary in this context, but I at least got to use it, and the feedback and responsiveness was there, and I was also using it on my, on my jeans, of course, and it works. We gotta get that merch.
We gotta get the shorts.
Yeah, it works on your jeans. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, got to use the mouse a little bit, and then just really excited about the 2v2 mode.
The doubles mode, is that
the doubles mode. Excited for that. That is a thing. We are gonna stream that for sure.
Yeah,
so,
that's launch day, so hopefully we'll get a code or something. We can do that on our launch day stream.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So yeah, it was like that fun type of chaos, that we love, where it's like, no, go. It's like, oh, get out of my way. I'm trying to get over there. So yeah, really good. So you just played some old games. They all ran and looked really well, but nothing, no Metroid.
Puyo is technically a new game.
Technically. Didn't play, no Metroids or Mario Karts to really get to see the power in action.
Right.
But the old stuff ran like a dream, and the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller were all excellent.
Nice. So. Thanks, Huber.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out. We got more previews coming very quickly. We're pre-Summer Game Fest, so everyone is just trying to jam their stuff in there as much as possible.
I'm
trying to get as many as I can. And there's other people I'm sorry, we don't have time to do everything.
Yeah.
But if you like what you see, check out patreon.com/EasyAlice, because we are funded by our viewers, by people just like you. So consider going over there and dropping in just $5 a month to keep things rolling. And we'll see you soon.